Morning, Kindlech. Here to God willing, go wiser. In this week's, morning, Kindlech. Here to God willing, go weiter in the Mimer V'nachas al Baruch Hashem Tuf Shin Chaf, or from Acharon Shel Pesach Tuf Shin Zayin, which implies to me the Rebbe hand selected this, edited it, and put it in the Kuntres. As always, learning to bind our souls to God, give pleasure, God, hasten redemption. Got up late, it's hurting me. Forgot what to do. I'm realizing how important the diet is, can't eat it a little too fast, can't stuff it in. Stuffing really sets you back. Thought I was doing so well, but I guess the stuffing is still an issue. Because the problem is, I think you get these gases that the gas gets trapped in the person, and then you don't feel right. It's hard to do your thing if you have, blocked, if you're puffy. I don't know how to say it. I don't know the medical terms. And I don't know what medicine says. But I remember the Rambam talking very clearly about harmful gases. Like if a person eats too close to when they go to bed, and then they lay down to go to bed, they'll wake up and these harmful gases, so God forbid, could be really not good for them. Or I think there's definitely could be harmful gases, and Rambam says it's really not good to do that. But I think I'm adding these words that the gas gets trapped, and because he's laying flat. And we got up late, don't really seem to care. Just not really 100%. Not really fully here. Plus, it's a little bit l'chachila ribu, the Rebbe Marash's birthday today. I have to talk about that. Teferes Sheba Teferes. Then in a second. Yeah, and then I had a public speaking engagement last night. I don't know how it went. I think I went a little off course. There's one girl in the room. She happened to be very pretty. And it was hard not to respond to her. And when she was going good, then it was oh, this is a good meeting. And then when I thought she wasn't 100% on, I was oh, this is a bad meeting. Got to get a little more self-assured, self-confident, not let my whatever that is rise and fall on the opinion of others to such a degree. You do have to be concerned about the opinions of others. You have to believe in yourself and know you're good, and present a solid frame and have times to make these adjustments. It's too hard to go up and down when everybody's women who and ha during the day. You just have to present something solid and go forward. So I'm going to try to do that. Anyway, Rebbe Marash's birthday. It's by far the Rebbe we know the least about. Some of the most famous things to know about him are, hopefully, the God willing, the two things I'm about to tell you. His teacher was testing him when he was a child, and the teacher was so impressed how well he did. He was testing him in front of his father, too, in front of the Rebbe, some ecstatic. And the teacher says to the Rebbe, didn't he do marvelously? And the Rebbe says, is there any surprise when Teferes Sheba Teferes does well? Because Teferes Sheba Teferes, this is beauty within beauty, mercy within mercy, whatever it is. And also shows something, in my opinion, about the Rebbeim. No matter if it's going well, they will always push for more. They will push harder. That's their nature. For the most part, I employ this. If I see a student doing well, I push. And then it does seem to be, I haven't seen this in print anywhere, but it does seem to be, if God forbid, the student, the makabel cracks, that the Rebbeim come in with big hugs of love and say, I love you, I care for you no matter what. But if it's going in a positive direction, make it much more positive as it can be, and then only come with the big chords of love if, God forbid, need be, because hopefully they love you and that's there in a transcendent way, whatever it is. And this type of thing, yes, it's an interesting model. And then also, a nice chance for me if I can get this exactly right. He has a very famous phrase called l'chachila riba, in the first place to go over, and it's an approach to life. It doesn't say it here. I saw it somewhere. I did just see it recently. 1 second, please. It means in the first place to go over, to take this type of approach. Anyway, it would help me. Give me a chance to look that up. But it says, I think he says the approach to the world is an initial place to go around. If you can't go around, go over. But it might be go under. It doesn't make sense to go under though. Not sure. The world, it starts out the world's initial approach would be go around, go over, like the person's approach to something they have to address. It says, and the world would say, if you can't go around, if I have the right gear, so then go over. He says, my opinion is go over in the first place. Just jump right over and keep going. It's another way to do it. Like a healer, would just go over. Whatever's in your way, just jump over, keep going. God's good. You have what you God willing, going weiter in the Mimer Os base. We talked a little about Mashiach and the era of redemption, how great Mashiach is, that he can smell and judge, that the Spirit of God rests upon him, and he creates so much, he's going to create or reveal so much godliness in the world that even the wolf will lie down with the lamb, and even the earth itself will be filled with the knowledge of God. Affect the revelation of godliness in the world. So he's doing it, it's already there, but he's affecting it in such a way that it's going to be revealed in the world that godliness is everywhere, and then since godliness is so everywhere, then the wolf lies down with the lamb, and even the earth itself covered with the knowledge of God, and in addition, so those were the two things. So why? It's interesting. My head's all over the place. So he's doing it, but he's just bringing out something that's already there. But he's like making it happen. He's making the revelation happen. He's revealing something that's present. So revealing the godliness in the world. So then that's the question: if the world's covered with the knowledge of God, what do you need a king for? I mean, if everything's open and obvious, what do you need? And he started to explain the difference between a king and a teacher, and explain that Mashiach's both. A king is exalted and removed from the nation, but at the same time he interacts with them. But he interacts with them in a little bit exalted way, even though he's like in a close but exalted way. It took a while to explain that, but with the Rav, and the easiest way to see it was the things he gives over to the people. It's not on their level; it's on his level, and they don't do it because they get it. They do it because they have over the king. Yeah. And the Rav and the Talmud, even if the Rav is infinitely beyond the Talmud and intellect, the teacher, the student, then he is trying to tailor-make it to the student. He wants to give the student an exact, perfect size fit that he'll take the knowledge, he'll contract it, he'll bring it down, he'll takes it the way he understands it, contracts it to a point to try to aim for the Talmud's level, expands it on the Talmud's level so it has details, brings it in the heart so he can speak it out, then speaks it out to the Talmud. And he's actually aiming for the Talmud's level. He's trying that it should end up. A good teacher will get it exactly to their student's level. And the Rebbe went on to say that when the Rav gives over to the Talmud, there's, of course, this part that God willing the Talmud understands, and there's something a little beyond. Something a little bit, as I understood, he gets it. He sees it. He sees it, but it's a little higher than grasping. He sees it, but he can't quite grasp it. But it's not totally transcendent, as opposed to the things that he gets from the king is just completely beyond him. That's completely transcendent. Mamshik of Maimer de Koza, Hainu Hainashpad, or Rav Hainashpad is a Melech, whether the flow is the flow of a Rav or the flow of a king. But Dafkal Yedek Damas Avod is the Monogolis. Comes specifically through our doing our service in Gullus. Alav and Ashako Shel is the Monogolis, the Gili Lasalavi. So what does Gullus have to do with ultimate redemption? Maktim Maimer Shem inside Gold of a Ribo Halamas Stanish is Monogolis. On account of the great concealments that are in Gullus, should be removed right away. Hashem should just redeem us. Yikarabot is Monogolis, who would Derek Nitzachon. The main, what we have to serve now is in a manner of victory. You just have to win, to overcome and win, period. At all costs. Those Chazak became a Torah mitzvah full mamish, to be strong in our Torah mitzvahs mamish. To not even make any accounts or reckonings of anything that's in the way, just do it. So you got to combine your Nike, Lahavdil, just do it, with your Nancy Reagan, just say no, and just make it happen. Just go, no questions asked. I needed to find a way to jump out of bed a little earlier today. Now I didn't get to learn that much and press for mikvah and this and that. Anyway, but a person has to take a just do it attitude, and not anything that's in the way, make it happen. Generally what he's talking about is serving and going against the grain manner that's higher than intellect and understanding. I understood I needed to sleep a little more, rest a little more. No, you just have to go. If there's something in the way, I don't care what makes sense to you. You have a clear path. The Rebbeim have laid it down for you. God wrote in His Torah. The Rebbeim have helped us to understand what's going on. Just go. Just go and do. I'm not saying it's easy, but this is how we're going to... If you bring out your attribute of victory, you're just going to... Come on, of course I'm going to go and win. There's nothing else to talk about here. Let's just win. What does it mean, Mesiris Nefesh? So pressing to go into the grain that he doesn't go into a question and answer session. He just does it. Rather, he just understands it's impossible. It could be any other way. There's no choice in the matter. Just go. You know, a person doesn't, I don't know what you think, but a person doesn't really think about if they should breathe or not. They just breathe, and definitely they can always breathe forever and ever. The Rebbe Melech Mashiach says many times we could have eternal life in these bodies. They don't make these counts, so to speak. So what to think about there? Anyway, in a manner of just victory and go. Whatever's in the way, you just go. Just don't stop. Just go. Whatever you have to do, go. Don't talk about it. Just make it happen. Don't make an account. So. But Indian who? What are we talking about here? There's one bias when the temple was standing, we should have it right away. The Yidden were on a higher level. In addition to the fact that naturally they had greater Torah wisdom at that time, and let's say for now because they were closer to the revelation of Matan Torah. But during all the festivals of the year, they would go to the Holy Temple and they would see godliness. There were open miracles in the temple. Shamayim was higher than understanding. And it's interesting. We learned recently that anything that's beyond understanding is considered a wonder. So the levels of godliness that you're trying to approach and trying to grasp in your personal growth, those are presently a wonder to you. But through work and breaking the seed, those things can shift from wonder to understanding. You can pull them into, and you can have a higher grasping of elokus. But there's always higher and higher to go. Thank God. You have to keep pushing, driving, and breaking through, and get as much elokus as you can. And thank God He's infinite, because it goes forever. Shem Shabbat the Rios Kakwal Royos. Mashen came was one of Golos Kasiv Hani Yeshena. But not so in Golos. It's not just to go to the temple and see open miracles. So they should have the temple right away. And there are miracles around us all the time, but it takes perceptors to pick them up. In the temple, you could walk in, be a regular fleshy guy, and look, and you'd see the miracles. It says in Golos that says Hashem is asleep. Bugulusa. I think it's referring to Shem, maybe the Yid. I think it's Hashem. It's from the Zohar. Just like when a person's asleep, it hides on his innermost qualities. His intellect isn't really working, his emotions aren't really working, he might as well not be there. He's a lump of whatever. When it comes to his power of intellect, when he's schluffing, all that's left is his power of imagination. He might have some wild, crazy dreams, but it's not like he's really thinking about it. The mind's just, blah, blah, blah. And a lot of nights, I think a person wakes up, and as far as they don't have any dreams. So more or less wasn't really nothing to report. The main concealment that comes from the sleeping, it comes in seeing. A person certainly doesn't see what's going around him when he's asleep. And it's even recognized in the body itself. That the eyes are closed. So too with Golos. It should be over right away. What is this sleeping in Golos? So the main thing about this concealment in Golos is people don't see lo yeshna harai relikus. It looks a lot like the word we were using. Hebrew, many words have the exact same set of letters. You just change the variables. So during the time of Golos, it's interesting. I wonder obviously it's on purpose. I wonder to what degree this was on purpose in divine providence here. It's interesting. I should write some. I don't know, Blinat or Blinat. I should write something about that. So I think the way you read it is lo yeshna harai relikus. That during the time of Golos, there's no. There's no seeing of godliness. It's not as easy to see unless you have special receptors, Blianhar. But I think if you break the words a little different, you could read lo yeshna. If lo yeshena, if a person's not sleeping, harai v'lakus, he will see godliness. So I think there's a tremendous hidden little gem here. It's interesting. That would definitely be worth bringing on. That's awesome because you can see in the words itself. So I think what we said in the simple meaning is that during the time of Golus, the main concealment is a person doesn't see godliness as easily. But I think the Rebbe is hinting, and maybe strongly, that if a person doesn't sleep in Golus, then he will be able to see godliness. Osios Lori, that we haven't seen. And even this comprehension of godliness that a person has in Golus, a person can learn Chassidus and all types of Gemara and whatever else they may learn, it doesn't compare to how it was during the time of the temple. We should have it right away. And you compare a comprehension of godliness to the comprehension of the temple era, we should have it away to the ability you're able to clearly think when you're awake versus when you're asleep. Comparing, how to say it, true logic, regular thinking to dreams is quite distant comparison. So too, the level of godliness we understand compared to what they understood when the temple was standing, which right away is quite distant. Besides that, every year is Joanna goes and since the seeing and understanding aren't quite the same, we should have them back how they were. Then the love and fear of God isn't quite the same as it was during that time. We should get it back. Then in addition to the time of Golus, you can't really have quite this high level of bittul, of bowing, an innermost bittul. That comes when a person can see godliness, then when you see something, it really affects you. It could affect you much more deeply, and you can have a much more innermost bittul. You hear something, it does affect you, but to really get it into your heart and deep into your person, seeing is a stronger tool for the most part. Who knows, maybe we could say that's why the ladies are able to often achieve, I don't know if that's true. I was going to suggest maybe women have an advantage here in that they can still achieve bittul because they're a little more auditory. And if we say that we're a little more on an auditory level versus a visual level, maybe it's a stretch. Alright, and I didn't leave enough time to develop the point. We know why that is at this point, because I said it a few times. Wish I would have got up earlier. Alright, so we can't have this high level of bittul, because it seems to be with seeing you get the bittul affects you really deep on your insides. You can see this straight from the verse that we say, calling the verse that we say in Tefillah. We say this during the davening in the Musaf of Yom Tov. It says very clearly that we can't go up and see and bow before you. And the Rebbe says, look at this verse and see that since we can't go up, automatically we can't bow, which is a very innermost bittul, to get really just completely nullified to God, to really see it. They're seeing, see something, but how deeply does it affect you? Do you really see God? Bittul that even this external bittul, which a person can at least get, which is a lower level of bending, that can come from understanding, not so much seeing. But a person can understand and get bittul, and he'll still bow, just won't infect him as much in the innermost way. Jason will call us was on a go, so this at least we have now. Even this isn't as it should be, according to the because understanding isn't like it used to be. It's not such a true understanding. So mostly we just have to win. We can't really use our intellect. We can't expect to be so bittul because we don't understand that well. We don't see that well. So what do we have left? We have to use this power of netzach and just make it go. Just the power of make it happen. And all this goes gufa. And generally speaking, as time goes on from Matan Torah, the intellect and the hearts get a little bit less. Marazal, Ben Shel Rishonim, V'anik Amali Neket Machat Stiko, Seed Keys, I don't know how you say that. Pride Badar, Divis Mashiach, Shin Nizraba, Alamos Estern, Nosas Zeshe, Smato Mochin. So as time goes on, unfortunately, it gets darker, and the brains get less, and the hearts get less. So the challenges are, God forbid, getting greater, and the tools are getting less. But you can bring out your big hammer, your big tool, your mega stuff. You have to hit it with the power of netzach, just smash him up. Lohim Zman is then the great Odiosa, and Netzachim is there's never so many time does. Gamma Valley Mokin Simon Exhaust, so we can Leos Laniach Sichlam below Leach Akar Etam Vadaskim, it's out of Sech Left Shun until Sach Sham Derech Emes, a product Shav Shin Israel by almost a stern canal. And even if, so we have to use our power of netzach, our power of victory, just no questions, no answers, just go, just make it happen. But a person might think, oh, he's a smarty now. He does understand. Maybe he doesn't have to rely on netzach so much. No, even he has to rely on his power of netzach, because a person's intellect now could get tilted one side or the other, and he might not be exactly on the path of truth. So even a smarty nowadays, a big ball sechel, has to also use his power of netzach to win. There's just no other choices. He just stands strong for every aspect of Torah mitzvahs, not to play around. Torah mitzvahs all day, every day, no questions asked, no movies, no soccer games, no goofing around, and get it done. You just have to say, do it. He's just going to do it without asking, without making a reckoning. Get in there and go. There are other tools that a Jew has. If he sees godliness, it's very easy. If he had a true understanding of godliness, it's not as easy if he sees it, but it's a little easier. And if those tools are God forbid lacking, he's got his power of netzach. He's just going to do it. He's just going to win regardless of what he sees, thinks, or understands. He'll just do it. All right, Mashiach now.